Now we're going to get started with the special senses. The 5 special senses are olfaction, smell, gustation, taste, vision, equilibrium, balance and sensations, and hearing. Let's begin with olfaction, or smell. The olfactory organs provide a sense of smell. They're located on the nasal cavity on either side of the nasal septum. It's made up of 2 layers, the olfactory epithelium and the lamina propria. This is an image showing you the olfactory epithelium, the olfactory nerve fibers, the olfactory bulb, the olfactory tract, and the central nervous system. This is the pathway to the central nervous system. As humans, we have 1,000 types of smell receptors approximately. The convergence of many receptor cell signals into one glomerulus registers as a signature pattern. The brain recognizes the pattern sent to the ulcus, or the olfactory center, in the limbic area. Anosmia is the absence of the sense of smell. Know that. This can be due to trauma, colds or allergies producing excess of mucus, polyps causing blockage, and 1/3 are from zinc deficiency. Those are all causes of anosmia. The olfactory bulb is in the forebrain, and the bulb nerve axons branch and synapse with the mitral cells. The mitral cells send signals via the olfactory tract. Taste is also called gustation. Gustation provides information about the foods and liquids consumed. Taste receptors are called gustatory receptors. They're distributed on the tongue and portions of the pharynx and larynx, and they're clustered into taste buds. Taste buds are associated with epithelial projections or lingual papillae on the superior surface of the tongue. This is an image showing you the taste buds mostly on the tongue, and they're showing you the lingual tonsil, the palatine tonsil, the epiglottis, and then your circumvallate papilla. Taste buds of 50 to 100 epithelial cells each. Taste receptor cells, gustatory cells, microvilli through the pore, bathe in saliva. Dissolved molecules bind and induce receptor cells to generate impulses in the sensory nerve fibers. The following are the types of taste: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and glutamate, or MSG. Gustatory taste pathway to the brainstem and cerebral cortex happen via 2 cranial nerves: cranial nerve number 7, the facial nerve, and cranial nerve number 9, the glossopharyngeal nerve. The cranial nerve number 7 is the anterior 2/3 of the tongue, where cranial nerve number 9 is the posterior 1/3 of the tongue. This is a picture illustrating each of the tastes. You have sweet, salty, bitter, sour, umami, and then water receptors near the pharynx. There's something called taste sensitivity. It exhibits significant individual differences. Some conditions are inherited. For example, PTC, 70% of Caucasians taste it, but 30% do not. The number of taste buds is also individual, and it begins declining rapidly by age 50. Let's begin with the eye and vision. Vision is the most dominant sense in humans. 70% of all sensory receptors in humans are in the eye. 40% of the cerebral cortex is involved in processing visual information. The eye, or eyeball, is the visual organ. The diameter is about 2.5 centimeters, or 1 inch. Only anterior 1/6 is visible. It lies in a bony orbit, and it's surrounded by a protective cushion or fat. The accessory structures of the eye include the palpebrae, which are the eyelids, the superficial epithelium of the eye, and the lacrimal apparatus. Their function is to provide protection, lubrication, and support. The eyelids, or palpebrae, are made up of 2 parts, the medial canthus and the lateral canthus. This is where the two eyelids are connected. The eyelashes are the robust hairs that prevent foreign matter from reaching the surface of the eye. These are two more accessory structures of the eye that makes them unique. There's some other accessory structures of the eye. That includes the lacrimal carbuncle. It's a mass of soft tissue and it contains glands producing thick secretions. It contributes to the gritty deposits that appear after a good night's sleep. And the conjunctiva, the epithelium covering the inner surfaces of the eyelids. Now we can see in this image, we can see the lateral and medial canthus, the sclera, the eyelashes, the pupil, the palpebrae. The lacrimal apparatus produces, distributes, and removes tears, and the lacrimal gland is the tear gland, and the secretions contain lysozyme and antibacterial enzyme. The eye itself has three layers of the eye: the outer fibrous layer, the intermediate vascular layer, and then the deep inner layer. Make sure you look at this carefully. We have the anterior cavity, the posterior cavity, then we see the fibrous layer, the cornea and sclera, the vascular layer, the iris, the ciliary body, and the choroid, and then we have the posterior cavity and what we call the neutral layer where we see the retina. This is the same thing from a side angle. There are four rectus muscles and they allow the eye to stay straight, and there are two oblique muscles and they help the eye move superior and inferior. Double vision is also called diplopia. The eyes do not look at the same point in the visual field. Its cause is usually misalignment, or what we call strabismus. There can be many causes. It can be weakness or paralysis of extrinsic muscles of the eyes. Surgical correction may be necessary. It could be an ocular motor nerve problem, and there could be other problems also. Sometimes the eyes are glazed and movements don't conjugate, they're not together, or they could be cross-eyed. Another abnormality is called lazy eye or amblyopia. And sometimes the way we treat that is they'll put a patch over the eye so that they can strengthen the weak eye.